Road to 300. Hey, we never left. Just got out the gym and God, we got a lot to catch up on, haven't we? I haven't done one of these in ages, and to be honest, a lot has happened. So I said, let me just get in my car. Oh, we're in. So yeah, in February, I got stuck in my own knee sleeves. Did we catch up about that one? I don't think so. I hit 255 kilos and that moved reasonably well. Got married, got a house. Damn, it's been a big year. Been away a few different times. It's, been, to be fair, touch, knock on wood, one of the better years of my life so far, to be honest. Very, very happy. I don't want to jinx myself. Year's isn't done yet. But yeah, just go at the gym. I thought, look, you know, I am still on the road to 300, and I've just lost a little bit of consistency with the behind the scenes to it on this YouTube channel. So I'm going to keep these coming now every week. And so you can follow along. And yeah, just got done out the gym. I'm following the same process as I've always followed, the process that I preach about online, the process that I give to my clients, adding a little bit of weight to the bar, actually every other workout at the moment. And the reason behind that was just after the wedding, actually, I came down with possibly one of the worst bugs I've ever caught in my life. Some type of gastroenteritis, and honestly, when I tell you it was rough, I mean it. Like, yeah, I ended up losing like over a stone in body weight. Yeah, just you name it. It was coming out of me. it weren't good. It really weren't good. So I've had to reset my training because of that. And yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to the day-to-day progression. I've been away a couple of times since then, which has interfered with training too. So I've decided to keep things very, very simple and just work my way back and through the system, you know. And that's the way. And listen, it's worked, right? As I said, I got to 255 kilo squats. That's just 45 kilos now to go. And I say just, like, really, that's a lot of weight, you know. So yeah, that's what's been going on. Look, I've decided in these vlogs I'm gonna do one kind of takeaway and bit of wisdom after people ask me all these questions coming through each week. And I'm gonna try and leave you with a takeaway, right? Something that I think is a common flaw in a lot of people's strategy, you know, when they're trying to get stronger, they're trying to get more athletic, wherever it might be. And that is people holding themselves back by being afraid to eat more. Okay. Now, a lot of people might think that I'm like anti-weight loss because of some of the stuff that I put out online, but that's a complete misrepresentation of what I'm about. Okay, I'm anti-unnecessary weight loss. And I see that a lot these days, especially on social media. You know, you've got more people now than ever that are being sold this idea, okay, that if they get a six-pack or if they reach a certain number on the scale, then all of a sudden that's going to take all of their issues away. And I'm anti that. I don't think that is a healthy mindset to have. And I actually think it handicaps people in their training. Something that I preach to all of my clients is if you want to get stronger, you have to be willing to eat more. And none of that means that you are going to end up fat. Okay, and people have got this in their head that somehow getting stronger means you're going to be fatter. And that is a complete misconception. You have to be willing to fuel your training, right? And yes, of course, that might mean that, do you know what? If you go from a 60 kilogram squat to 180 kilogram squat, yes, you might be a bit heavier because you've built more muscle tissue, and you might add a little bit of fat with that. But if that means that you're adding, however many kilos of lean mass to the equation, then why not do that, right? Adding more muscle mass is always going to be of a benefit to you and your life, unless you have freakishly high amounts of muscle mass and you're a bodybuilder. That's the only exception, right? But those guys, that's a completely different beast. For everyone else, building more muscle mass is what you need. And it's actually the thing that is going to help you get longevity in your life. You're going to become stronger because of that. And also along with that too, you're going to look like you lift weights as well. And none of that means that you need a six-pack in that process. So look, if you want to get to that place where you are more athletic, you are more explosive, you are, stronger, all of these things, you have to be willing to eat. And I see more people now than ever, and I have conversations about this every week, that are afraid to eat food because they're listening to these TikTokers or whatever talking about how shredded they are, right? That is not what builds athletes, and that is not what builds great lifters. So look, hopefully that's some words of wisdom. I'm going to record more throughout the week, show you some behind the scenes. I'll show you the new house too. It's looking good. I've got, literally, I've had no input on this. It's all Lainey. So anyway, I'll catch you soon. It's a light day workout today, so I'm taking a little break in between sets, and I thought I'd chase something. I had a guy reach out and ask me to look at his program, and I don't know what it was, if I haven't looked at a program in some time. I'm so used to seeing what I write for people. It was literally this guy is planning an expedition to Mars. Honestly, fucking hell, guys. It was so complicated, right? And I don't know where it is. These guys that come out of university, or wherever it might be, I think they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and fair play, he's humble guy, asking for my opinion, so nothing on him. But I see it so often where these young coaches in general, to be honest, are trying to overcomplicate it. Use some rules, right? I created these today, put them out on my email list. Use just a few. 1, if you are yet to know how to squat properly, forget about your program. Get a coach. Get someone that knows how to teach you the basics properly. And the harsh truth is, very few people know how to teach a squat properly. That's the truth of it. 2, if an exercise has no long-term progression built into it, e.g. you can't incrementally load it for the rest of the time, forget about it. It's a waste of time, right? If it doesn't challenge you, it isn't going to change you. And so you have to have the ability to incrementally load over time. And 3, if you have more than, say, 4 exercises at a push in your workout program, then it is just nonsense. In fact, when I start working with people, we do 4 exercises in total in the entire program, because it's all about coaching then, so yeah, that was just, rant, I suppose. But it's a very, very common thing where people are trying to reinvent the wheel, and I'm noticing it these days. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. That's where it's at. And if the more you complicate it, the further likely you're going to drift away from the things that actually matter. Now, what's the most important part to getting your strength up? Any guesses? Eating. Something a lot of people don't want to do these days. Here we go. How are we doing, guys? Well, today I've got the 215 kilograms for 3 sets of 5 reps on squats, and just taking the dogs out now. Here's our new little daily walk that we do. She always looks so nervous, Marty, of course, in the back. And something that I'm learning about this process. Come on, Marty, good girl, come on. You have to encourage her, otherwise she doesn't move. Something that I have learned about this process, in, training to get to a 300 kilogram squat naturally, very important distinction, is how mental it is. I'd go as far as saying that productive training is largely psychological. And I kind of always knew that anyway. But obviously the implementation now of, trying to maximise as much as I can to get to this goal, I'm really realising that firsthand. I think a lot of people, they come into the gym and there isn't that spark there. You need that spark. Even now, like today, woke up, I've got the voices in my head, go a little bit lighter. You don't have to go that heavy today. You got to put those voices to one side, and you got to do it anyway. That's what it means to get results. What we do here is not like what I'd say 95%. No, to be honest, I go beyond that. I'd say, there's probably a very small portion of the population that does what we do. And that doesn't make us better than other people, but it's just the truth. We do things differently. Do the same exercises over and over and over again every week. And a lot of people might look at that, you might do, and think, do you know what, that sounds boring. Well, when you're achieving results, nobody finds that boring. Nobody. I've yet to find one person that finds it boring if you're getting results. And that's how we do things here. She's just stopped. This is what we're dealing with. You ready? Come on, let's go. Yeah, this is your reminder. You just got to get out and do it, It's like, I didn't necessarily look forward to doing this. Like, I really didn't. I didn't, like, I'd much rather just do 180 kilograms, have an easy day, 3x5. The stress has to go up. You've got to be willing to do hard shit if you want to make progress. You've got to be willing to do the things that people aren't willing to do. And as corny as that sounds, it's the truth. So I'm going to pop off now. I need to feed these dogs. And it's showtime.
Asti's done now. It's funny because people will say to me, oh, what you do only lasts for so long. You can't go up forever. But that is exactly the fucking point. The point isn't that I expect you can go up forever. Of course not. Be Superman within 2 years. The point is that people do not exhaust their own genetic ability, and they never truly test that by just exhausting the ability to go up workout to workout. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying you have to get to what I'm squatting here, but you have to exhaust that before, of course, you move on to more advanced methods. But people don't do that. So what we do, we go up workout to workout as far as we can. Then we go up, say, every week. When you can't go up every week, we go up every month. When you can't go up every month, then you need sort of like what I call a longer term annual plan, you know, following more modern periodization. But you earn that right. And people start on step 20 when really, and they're avoiding all the steps that come before it, you know, and that's why people don't really get objective results. I shouldn't say people, just a lot of people, you know. Fucking hell, I'm cooked.
Today, I really need to shave, but also 220 3x5 is going down. Matched all-time best. Let's get it.